Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the second out of the new generation of build videos I'm going to be making for Path of Titans. I did some in the past, but now I'm starting to get back into them. I'm put a bit more effort into these. I hope you guys enjoyed the Spinosaurus one. At the time of me recording this, it's not uploaded yet. But this currently is a good build that I'm running, since Bite does bleed, Rend is really good as an alternate attack. But this build here is really good for fighting other Apexes with the Charge Bite. That is a really good build. And then here, this is good for if you're in a group of Gigas, like a duo and a semi-realism. And then this is good if you're taking on an Argent. So in this fight, I'm going up against an Acro. Now, Acro is very similar to Giga in terms of agility and playstyle. And Acro does a lot of damage, and if you're not careful, they can definitely take on a Giga. But DB Acro is overall weaker than PT Giga, so if you're able to just overpower them like this and like avoid their like really strong attacks, like even if they land that Charge Bite, don't let them attack you for a few seconds after that because of the Sunder debuff. Because that Sunder debuff gives them a damage buff, which you do not want to get hit when they're doing that. But anyways, essentially, Giga can just kind of overpower it, and you can just go from there. You don't really need the Charge Bite for an Acro fight. You can really just run Rend and be perfectly fine. Because he's going to be bleeding profusely throughout the entire fight. Even if there is a break in the action, and you're able to heal the bleed, he'll still be bleeding quite a lot if you keep hitting with Rend. Okay, this is the first Spino fight. I'm not going to recommend this build for Spino, honestly. Rend is not great for fighting a Spino when you are solo. Here, I kind of just lucked out. I don't really believe in luck, but there's no other really word to describe it. I did pretty good here with the Rend attack. Just bleeding out the Spino. You never want to attack the Spino head on unless you can trade with like a bulldoze or a charge, which I wouldn't rely on charge for damage. I rely on charge more as kind of like Tyrannotitan's dash. But Spino is really, really strong right now. It's the only, to be honest, it's the only Apex that actually feels like an Apex. It's really, really good. And if you're not careful as a Giga, a Spino can definitely take you out. They're incredibly tanky, they're similar in speed to you, they can keep up with you in a fight, and they have really good turning and extremely high damage. Spinosaurus is a really tough fight. But you do have agility and bleed on your side, as well as stamina. Bleed is definitely really useful though. But yeah, most Spino fights, you're going to want to use the Charge Bite build against them. Now for PT Rex, if a PT Rex is using the right build, they'll probably try to use Fracture on you. What you're going to want to do is try to avoid the Crushing Bites as much as possible, like I just did there. And you can use Rend to kill them. It's just a lot of tail riding and a lot of bleeding them out. And if you start taking a lot of damage, I recommend just using your bulldoze to keep damage up, while also being able to tank some attacks. Because while PT Rex has been getting nerfed and everything, it still does more damage than Giga. Especially with its Lone Survivor and Buff Call. It does a lot of damage. And if it's running Charge Bite, you're going to want to match that with a Charge Bite build of your own. Just try to bleed it out. And sometimes just try to go for headshots as well, just to keep the max amount of damage possible on them. Okay, so this is Pot Rex. Pot Rex is very different from a PT Rex fight. Pot Rex relies a lot more on fracture, so you always know that they're going to be running some sort of fracture abilities. What you're going to want to try to do is try to avoid the fracture for as long as you possibly can. And use your charge bite, because against Pot Rex, Rend is not going to do you much good. Just avoid the fracture as much as possible, get in a lot of damage and bleed, because you can go band for band with a T-Rex and a face tank without... if it doesn't fracture you, you can definitely go band for band with a T-Rex and a face tank, as long as you're using your charge bite and your bulldoze correctly. I'm not sure how the Rex was able to fracture me there, but when you do get fractured, pop pain inhibitor so you can heal it faster. And you get a damage buff. And again, it is just a bit of tail riding, because T-Rex, it does a good amount of damage, but 60 damage on the bite is not really that much. It's a close fight, but Giga can definitely pull it off. Okay, so Tyrannotitan is really different here. You're going to want to use Pain Inhibitor when they pop the defense buff call. But when a Tyrannotitan is running Heavy Bite, you're going to want to trade that with either a Charge Bite or a Bulldoze, because that Heavy Bite does, I think, 120 damage. It's a lot. Actually, oh wait, no, it does 100 damage. At least from what I remember, I'm pretty sure it does 100 damage. It could be 110. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't think it's 120. I just remember I made it 120 on my server. That's incorrect. On base stats, it's not 120. That's my mistake. But Tyrannotitan does similar damage to you, but Giga does have a higher bite force. It does hit harder than Titan does. But if you're not careful, a Titan can definitely go band for band with you when it comes to bleed. But that was a Feast Titan, so he wasn't maxing out his damage. So the start of this fight is a bit scuffed, where I was kind of taken advantage of when I was sitting down because I was changing abilities. But the thing is with Giga versus Carc fights, the Carc is going to try and bleed you out, and Carc's lacerating bite gives it a damage buff on its normal bite, and its normal bite already does, like, really good damage. Like, I'm pretty sure it's more damage than Tyrannotitan's. But the thing is, Carc is not very tanky. It can be tanky depending on the Carc you fight. And I was fighting a damaged Carc here, which is why he got me pretty low. But even with him attacking me when I was sitting down, Giga is just the stronger dino. So Carc just can't really beat them in a fight. Unless they're really, really good. It is possible. I've seen it happen, but it's not very common. Okay, Absentia Acro. This is kind of sad because Absentia Acro has been getting nerfed recently. Like, I'm sure you've probably heard from Dino Knight that they've nerfed the turn radius, which you will see in this fight. PT Giga got its turn radius nerfed, as you can also see. But my god, the Acro turning nerf is terrible. It's so bad. But the thing with Acro is it's essentially just like trying to tail ride. Don't let it get headshots on you. Try to avoid the headbutts when you can. Well, more like shoves, but still. Because they're just going to make him more tanky. And Acro's already pretty tanky. You do more damage than it, I'm pretty sure. But again, don't let it stack too many headbutts on you. And since its turning's not very good, it'll probably try to use its environment to its advantage. Kind of like how some T-Rex players will do that. Although T-Rex doesn't need to do it as much anymore, because its turning is actually pretty decent now. But yeah, Acro fights are relatively simple after all the Acro nerfs. Or AB Acro specifically. Okay, so here's another Tyrannotitan fight where I'm just going to show you what I mean. This Tyrannotitan is maxing on his damage, so I'm just going to trade his damage with bulldozes and charge bites. Do be careful of their juke, because that juke is really useful. Is better turning than Giga. They do juke and try to get or something while they're doing that, just for some free damage, because they can't attack while juking. Or they can't attack while juking, but it has to be done in a specific way, and it's likely not to hit unless done in a specific way. So you might be able to get a free hit off if they do that. And dodging the heavy bites is also a really good way to ensure that you win. But yeah, that's damage. Now, Dominus is a really annoying fight. The way to kill them is very similar to how you would kill them as, like, a T-Rex or something. You essentially just have to tail ride. That's essentially what it is. Sure, they have a tail attack that does knockback, and they have a wing beat that also does knockback, and if you're not careful, it'll knock you up and make you take fall damage. But essentially what you need to do is avoid all of its, like, bite attacks. Tank the back ones, and if it tries to fly up and do the charge bite thing like it's doing there, pop pain inhibitor or bulldoze or something, trade it, and then get behind it and start bleeding it out. You do not want to get hit from the attacks from the front. You can't face tank this thing. It's super overpowered. Your charge bite is going to be really good against it, but if you're able to get behind it like I did, you can bleed it out and kill it pretty easily. But yeah, when it like flies up and does that thing, just try to stay under it, because then it can't charge bite you. Okay, so this is the only instance in which DB Giga is actually beatable as PT Giga. If it's not running Flesh Graze, and if it's not spamming the Smash ability, it's probably going to be able to be beaten, but a good DB Giga player is always going to kill you. DB Giga is just way stronger. It can max out its defense, it can heal itself. It's just a really strong dino. It's just the bigger Giganotosaurus, so it kind of makes sense that it wins. It's just the bigger version of the same animal. But yeah, this was a really situational fight. Most of the time, you are not going to be able to beat DB Giga, so I don't recommend fighting them. Hey everybody, just want to say thank you guys for watching, for tuning into these videos, and just voting in the polls and everything. I really appreciate it. It's really cool of you guys to be this engaged with the community and everything. And I hope you guys found these build videos like useful. I hope you found them insightful. I hope you've learned something. And if you've got any ideas for other build videos to do, put them in the comments. I'll be making more polls. And until next time, I will see you guys. Stay blessed.